Hey there, comic book fans. Special treat for you tonight. I'm going to get into the good stuff in my collection, and unlike most people, I don't have any slabs or anything like that, or, high priced first appearances, whatever. The crown jewel in my collection are my treasuries. My Marvel Treasuries and my DC limited editions and other books of that size. As you can see, we got a big old stack over here. Pardon me, let's just get to it. And I don't know if I'll have to break this up into two or not, but let's just start looking here. First one, maybe I'll put them this way here. All right, first one here, we got the Savage Fists of Kung Fu with Shang-Chi. Now, this one here is actually in really good shape. I picked this one up within the past couple years, actually. Treasuries have always held a special fascination for me. And that's just such a great shape one. I think I paid $15 for it. I might even just paid 10. Luckily, the hobby hasn't caught up too much as far as price with these, which I love. They've always held a special fascination. Here we go with another cool one, House of Mystery. I mean, look at that cover, replicating the Bernie Wrightson cover on one of the smaller editions. I'm not sure what issue that was, but the Do You Dare Enter the House of Mystery? I do indeed. These ones are a couple modern day ones. Are a little bit smaller actually, and width-wise, but cool Rocketeer. They call it a Treasury edition, and I double bagged this one. This is also a Judge Dredd, which is super cool. Getting back old school again. We have the Joe Kubert, the Bible, just an amazing piece of work produced for this format. And Kubert really took advantage of the larger page sizes, larger panels, to produce a truly epic work befitting of the subject matter. If you don't have this in your collection, you really should. It's a really special piece. Going back here, we got a Marvel one. We got a Buck Rogers adaptation, which back in the day, huge Buck Rogers fan with the photo cover there, and it's always nice to see Aaron Gray. We have these are great. You may have a couple doubles in here. This is the famous first editions that DC put out of reprinting their characters or characters they've acquired. First editions for those not in the know. So obviously this one is Captain Marvel, later known as Shazam, and this faithfully reprints the Wiz Comics, complete with the cover inside. I actually heard these were so faithfully reproduced that people were actually tearing off the cardboard in I guess the 70s and 80s and selling the insides as legit, Wiz Comics and Action Comics and that, and people were dumb enough to buy them. So you know what, buyer beware on that. If you thought comics were that big back in the day, you deserve to get ripped off, frankly. Is that nice? That probably wasn't nice to say. Did I say that out loud? I did say that out loud. Anyway, continuing on, we've got more Shazam here, as the character was named by then. One of my all-time favorites here. This is the Star Wars adaptation, which was done in two different parts initially. As you can see, part 1 and part 2. I read my copies so much that they were dog-eared, and I cut things out of them and thoroughly enjoyed them as a kid at 7 years old. And went back and actually got multiple editions. It's like every time I see these Star Wars treasuries, I end up buying them at conventions just because I love the book so much. This is another modern one here. This is Archie. Got that for my kids. Unfortunately, they really don't dig the comics like their old man yet. But, give them time. We have a cool Dick Tracy here. Always love to have the great Chester Gould art. Especially even in in this larger format. Again, just makes it all that much more special. Beautiful painting here of Superman on this limited collector's edition. I forget the artist's name, unfortunately, but a real iconic piece there. I can't go wrong with that. Again, these are in no particular order here, guys, so I'm sorry if I'm all over the place. Sensational Spider-Man. We have giant superhero holiday grab bag. We have another modern one. Yeah, just the one in here. This is Spidey. That came out, I think, about maybe 3 years ago, maybe, if I'm not mistaken. So I heard about it, and I guess it was a Godzilla that I'm actually looking for, that I haven't been able to get my eyes on, or get my hands on rather yet. But I'm not sure if it came out or not. Maybe you can leave a comment if you know. I think it was IDW was putting that out. The Rampaging Hulk. We have another giant superhero holiday grab bag. In some of these, they reprinted, classic stories and things like that. It was quite worth it. Others, were kind of hit and miss with some of the Hulk and things like that. They weren't particularly very good. In fact, I'll get to like the worst Treasury that I ever read coming up. Here's a beautiful one too, with a nice, beautiful Jack Kirby, the bicentennial battles, with obviously Captain America throwing his mighty shield. We have Marvel Treasury giant superhero team up. I mean, come on, how could you not want that as a kid? Like, look at that action on there. $1.50 though was something back in the day, because if I'm not mistaken, this would have came out. I'm trying to think of the retail price of the comics at the time, were probably maybe 35 cents. At the most 50, so it was basically 3 for 1, and I don't even think they were 50. I think they were still 35 if memory serves. So it did take some investment. This isn't a Treasury per se, but it's a Treasury size. It's an old Disneyland magazine that I have in my collection. I've had since I was a kid, that I just kind of keep with my treasuries here. So that's in there as well. Cool collectible. I'm not a huge Disney guy, but that certainly holds a special place in my heart. Snow White, one of the classic films of all time, and one of my favorite films too. Battlestar Galactica, big in the 70s, right? Continuing the space theme, here's Kirby's adaptation of Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. This has to be seen to be believed. Kirby really let loose artistically on here. Within the 2001, again, produced for the format, and legendary Jack Kirby took full advantage of it. Real great piece of his work. Empire Strikes Back adaptation, and oops, yeah, there we go again. This one here has International Games of Canada logo on it, so Canadian edition. Here's the Star Wars adaptation where they put it all in one issue. I didn't have this one as a kid. I later got it. It's number 3, but it's just number 1 and 2 put together, so they just like kind of scanned kids. Here we go with, like I'm saying, the Star Wars issues 1 and 2 again. And oops, I got another number 2. Yeah, is that 3 so far? Okay, I mentioned the worst one that I had. I actually tried reading this, and in fact, you know what? I don't want to diss someone without knowing their name. So this is a Bill Mantlo script. Here are the credits, Herb Trimpe. Now, the story goes on this, if I'm not mistaken, I literally have heard a story that these guys had less than a week, if not a weekend, to produce this. Unfortunately, while they met their deadline, it definitely shows in both the art and the story. It's just instantly forgettable. It's just laughably bad inside. The story is ridiculous. You can tell it was just slapped together. But, you got to have it, right? it's a Treasury. This, of course, one of the most famous Treasuries, Superman versus Spider-Man, the crossing over of the two. I think I paid, this is actually one I paid a few dollars for. I think I paid about $50 for this about 10 years ago, something like that. Maybe a little bit longer, maybe about 15 years ago. Pardon me. But was super stoked to get it because I didn't even see this one as a kid. I only saw it in magazines and things like that. So once I saw it in a shop wall, actually the owner had about 6 or 7 treasuries, and I think I bought about 4 or 5 of them that day. So super happy to have it. There's another Superman again. Here we go. We're getting into some doubles here. Another Dick Tracy. Not too many doubles though. Sensational Spider-Man. This is one I've had since I was a kid. This is my copy of the Astonishing Spider-Man. A really cool dark cover, and it reflects the dark subject matter inside, where it's got X-Men, Iron Fist, Werewolf by Night, Ghost Rider, and a real moody atmospheric piece there by Budiansky, Bob Budiansky on the cover, and Ernie Chan inks. Always had that one since I was a kid. Here's another one I've had since I was a kid as well. The Incredible Hulk. Another amazing cover there. Just doing Hulk things in the rain with the lightning, right? Saying, "Why am I the Hulk? Because you're angry. That's why you're the Hulk." Fantastic Four. Let's see here. Spectacular Spider-Man. Another famous first edition of Wonder Woman. Here's another one I've had since I was a kid. There's two of them in here, actually. This is Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And on the back is the Flintstones Christmas Party. And you can see where a young Mike thought it would be cool if I could trace all these great Hanna-Barbera characters. And I started here and used a Sharpie, and by the time I was done tracing the head, well, I didn't realize it was leaking through, and I was just aghast to have ruined one of my comics, but at least I got a story out of it, I guess, right? Continuing now, we have Howard the Duck. Very cool 70s piece. Another one, I was a big fan of this one since I was a kid, The Marvelous Land of Oz. It introduced me to some of the different tales of Oz, where, you know, a lot of people grew up and they just heard of the Wizard of Oz. This, you know, illuminated me into, hey, there's more than one Oz story by Baum. So again, I kind of doodled on the cover here as a kid, you know, like as a 6-year-old or whatever, but hey, it's still mine. I still got it. Beautiful cover here of Spectacular Spider-Man. I was actually going to get Stan Lee when I met him. I was rushing around trying to think, like, what am I going to get him to sign? And I was thinking of this, and then I later settled on I had some 70s Marvel stationery that I got Stan to sign, and it was very cool, but this certainly would have been a nice showpiece as well. The Mighty Thor. Beautiful cover there. I'm not even a Thor guy, but look at that. How could you not, again, look at that on the stands and not want that as a kid? Beautiful Doctor Strange. Here's one that really disappointed, really. This was, and you know, just to disappoint even more, I got two of them. Superman, Spider-Man, just a lame story, really. Was not nearly as good as the first one, but being the completist that I am, you know, I had to add it. Here we have another team up here. We have Batman and the Incredible Hulk. We have a Superman the movie. Check that out. Christopher Reeve. He'll always be Superman for me. It's Kurt Swan in the illustrated, and Christopher Reeve obviously as the movie Superman. That's when I grew up, and we did believe a man could fly when we saw that. And in case you forgot, then they reminded us in Superman 2 as well. And we're like, hey, we believed you. And this one here had better villains, but obviously not as good as a film as the first Superman. Another cool team up here, Superman and Flash. We have the Sensational Spider-Man with some Black Panther, Cap, Doc Strange, and Kazar or Kazar. If someone could tell me how to pronounce that once and for all, Kazar or Kazar, you know, it tends to differ amongst fans. Here is Jackson Bostwick of Shazam, cool photo cover. We have the Defenders. Here, I'm going to show you what, if I had to name my favorite comic book of all time, it would be this one. And this is my dog-eared one here, too. Now, I have another copy of this, but there was something about this Christmas with the Superheroes. I got it at Christmas. I've had it since I was a kid. I was probably 5 or 6 when I did get this. I read this so many times. As you can see, this is well loved here. The spine is coming off. You know, I drew on Batman a little bit. Well loved, and I actually thought I lost this for a time. And then I discovered it at the bottom of a box one time, and I was, after I'd already purchased another copy, and I was so ecstatic to actually have the original copy back. So certainly much loved, and like I say, if I had to name a favorite comic of all time, I would honestly probably name that. It's got a great Bernie Wrightson story in there, and just some really cool stuff. Great Sandman reprint. Great stuff by DC. Superman, Wonder Woman. We have Sensational Spider-Man, that's a double. We have Batman Strangest Cases. This is one of the later ones that I added just in the past couple years. We have very cool Batman painting there on that one. We have Batman the All-Villain issue. Jungle Book. Look at this Adams, like, you know, that to me is that's the Batman I grew up with as a kid, right there encapsulated. I actually had this in a puzzle, and every time I see that, it just takes me right back to the kid with the blue. Remember when Batman had blue, kids? Remember that? You know, and yeah, he was still, you know, a pretty dour guy, but he's actually smiled once in a while when he had the blue on. He doesn't do that anymore. We have the Action Comics #1. We have the All-Star Comics. It feels like there's another one, and yes, there is. There we go. Flash Comics on the reverse. See here, continuing, we have Ghosts. Another one of my favorite ones, the King Kong adaptation. This is the Whitman imprint. I believe is there a DC and a Whitman imprint? I forget. There's another imprint, but I have the Whitman. And I remember getting this at Woolco, which was a forerunner of Walmart here in Canada anyway. I'm not sure if y'all had Woolco over there. Or Woolworths maybe. I'm not sure how it worked in the States, but I remember getting that one as a kid from Woolco. Geez, I'm running out of space here. A few left. We got another Shazam. We have the Superboy Legion of Superheroes. Now I'm going to just kind of take some of these off here. So I can get these last few in. There's so many of them. Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Just pull out there. Super Friends. Great Alex Toth cover. Different Christmas with the Superheroes. That's us. Yeah, so that one's 1975. I don't know if that preceded the one that with the green cover that I mentioned or not. Here's a great Treasury edition. Everybody should own, by the great Jim Steranko. 2 parts to this, actually. It was a planned series. He only did the 2. But I was actually lucky enough to meet Jim Steranko. I booked him at a show that I put on here in my hometown, and had him his first appearance in Canada in over 40 years. I booked him in 2015, I think it was, and got to meet him, and you know, we talked all about this, and what a great guy, and what a gift to the medium this history is, if you can get your hands on one and really take the time to read it. The guy is not only just an epic artist, but just a true fan of comics in general. And any self-respecting fan should have the history of comics in their collection. I say that as I only have one, but I guess I'm not that self-respecting. I have no respect, I guess, for myself. A little bit. Superman Shazam. Rich Buckler, Dick Giordano cover. Oh my god, I got 2 of those. All right, there we go. And let's see, as promised, yeah, there's a better copy there of the Christmas with the Superheroes, as I was talking about. And last but not least, and certainly what a great way to end up, bam! I mean, again, come on. If you don't have a Superman versus Muhammad Ali in your collection, I have trouble taking you seriously as a comic fan. Again, just an epic story that was produced for this medium. And of course, they've gone back and done the deluxe edition on this now. But you simply can't beat the original with, you know, all the great cameos in the crowd. And, you know, they have a key inside, or a legend rather, to let you know who all the celebrities are and things like that, with the classic Neil Adams cover. But, yeah, Superman, Muhammad Ali, you know, if you have one Treasury in your collection, it should be, you know, this would be a strong candidate for that one. So anyway, that was a lot of books. It's a long video here, but I hope you like going through my Marvel Treasury DC Limited Collector's Edition, whatever they call them, format. You know, as I look through here, I know I even have a couple more lying around here somewhere, but I guess it'll be another video. That's enough for this time. Anyway, this is Mr. Malocchio, and thank you very much for watching. Give me a like and a subscribe if you like, and certainly some comments down below. I do this because I love my comics, and I love the discussion it generates. So, to everybody out there, happy collecting, and I will catch you next video. Take care.